What's up, you guys? So I had a realization today, and I had it after I received communication back from a friend that I had for a very long time. So a little background on myself. I have like a lot of interactions with people all the time. Like, part of moving around so much and always being on the move is that you're like, and changing around communities constantly, like I'm never in the same community. Even I'm always in a different place, different, my jobs were always changing. So I've moved around quite a bit in my life. So that means that I meet a lot of people and oftentimes become close with a lot of people because you're like either living with them, you're living very close to them, you're working with them in some way. So I just know a lot of people to the point where it's sometimes for a lot of people that live like this, it can be lonely because I don't feel like it's lonely per se anymore. But if you're like single in your single years, it can be very lonely because you just have so many relationships, and it's really hard to weed out what is close, like what is giving you more energy, which relationships you are able to be yourself in the most, where you're able to release your feelings, you're able to, you know what I mean? And another thing is, like, over the years, the more I've traveled and moved around and done this, the more I feel closer with my YouTube channel, because my YouTube channel is like that friend that I've always been able to vent to, and it's like a parent almost, that because we're all like underdeveloped children in a way. So even when we seek friends, we're seeking a little bit like a parental figure, a little bit, because they're your friends fill the gaps where your parents can't. They fill the gap of ego, love and belonging, a lot of needs that your parents alone can't really do. So my YouTube channel has become that, and has really filled a huge gap for me. And a lot of you guys only know me from after that huge gap was filled. A lot of you guys that watch my channel or that have met me after I already filled some major gaps. So you might know me as very confident, like, oh my God, like people that I meet here. My friend was telling me the other day, she said that when she met me, she thought I was so confident, so self-assured that she was like scared of me. And I was like, oh my God, I literally never considered myself in that way, because I just remember my old self, my old versions of myself. Or other people that I meet here, the older I get, as these little gaps in my personality and my development are filled, I meet people on a totally different playing field than I used to in the past. So in the past, as I was like having maybe like a big, huge hole where I needed love and belonging, and I was like begging for love, begging, be my friend, when I was younger, I don't maybe have the same energy now. Now, when I meet people, the energy that I give is, please don't be my friend. I don't have the brain capacity for another friend. I don't want to have to worry about what you think. That's like the energy that I'm giving now, because I am like the opposite, because I'm like, oh my God, my hole has been filled already. Like, that sounds sexual, but like, you know what I mean? Like, my gap has been filled already. Like, please don't overcomplicate it for me. Even though like because I have developed so much and like come to such a specific place based on my needs, these people might be even more of a fit for me to be friends with than people that maybe when I was younger, you know what I mean? But it's just part of life. It's just an interesting thing that you go through. And I know a lot of people go through this, is like, as you get older, you become a different person and you meet people on a different playing field and you forget how it was when you were younger. So I've developed a lot through my years, and even in the past few years, I've developed a lot. And I've changed in a lot of ways. And especially for a lot of people, myself included, getting into a relationship is one of these big, huge gap fillers where once you get into a relationship, all of a sudden, you don't really need to beg for love in a lot of other places. Because the relationship fills so much of that for you. Like you get so much of what you've been trying to get of love from all the other people in your life. All of a sudden you get so much of it from your relationship that you don't need those little tiny crumbs from this person and that person and that person and that person, because you get a big huge chunk of bread from your relationship. So that's a big reason why a lot of people, myself included, when they get into a relationship, that's yet another thing where it kind of distances them from a lot of people in their life, which is, it's just life. It's just life. You get into a relationship that is a big, huge, filling loaf of delicious bread of love that you don't need to collect now little tiny crumbs from a million people with a million overhead, right? So it's like, whatever, it's cool. I want this for everyone that I love and care about. I don't want you to be lonely and sad and starved for love that you have to beg me for a crumb. If I wanted that for you, I would be just a disgusting person. But the truth is that, maybe I wouldn't be a disgusting person. Maybe I would just have really valued the connection that I had with you. And maybe I would feel hurt that now, because you got in a relationship that filled your hole, your gap, that filled your gap, your love gap, now that you got in a relationship that filled your love gap, you don't need me anymore. And that would feel very hurtful. So that I can understand, actually. And honestly, nobody is a disgusting person. Everyone has needs and gaps that need to be filled. And everyone has, so really, that was my emotions coming out when I say you're a disgusting person. Everybody has needs, and maybe sometimes you realize those needs later, after the fact. You had someone that was begging you for love every day for like a year, and you didn't really, it kind of felt like a nuisance in the moment, but you were gaining some kind of energy from it that you weren't able to see until after a year they break off from you and they move on, and you're like, oh my God, I actually really enjoyed that. I benefited from that. I gained energy from it. Now I'm sad that I don't have it. And a lot of people in their relationships, I broke up and made up with Andrew a couple times for different reasons, but every time I got back together with him, the reason was because I realized that the gap that he was filling, the love gap that I felt of being with him, and the energy gap that I felt from being with him, was so much greater than all the fears that I had from being with him. And you don't always see that when the relationship is happening. Sometimes you see that after the other person has already moved on, and it's a really hard place to be in, especially if they don't want you back. So as a friend, as a lover, whatever it is, that's something that so So a thing that I've realized in my life is that it's really hard for me to be in a close relationship with people from my past life, because I think that I had a relationship with people based on a past version of myself that had big, huge, gaping holes. So even relationships from a few years ago, from before I met Andrew, there are so many relationships in my life that were based on the version of me that had a big, huge, gaping love gap. A big, huge, love me. Where it was, there's a lot of people like this. A lot of people from my past where there's just so much desire for an intimate connection coming from my end and like no desire from their end. And it's like me messaging them, texting them, and it's actually different. For everybody, it's different. There are some people that I feel like, people's love languages are different. But for when it comes to like intimacy, that was something I've always craved, was emotional connection, intimacy. And I feel like there's so many people that like the relationship became built on a big, huge love gap that I had, was me wanting to be loved and accepted. And me like messaging people, like messaging someone like all day, every day, like all of my thoughts and feelings and all these things, and then them responding with like a one-liner. And then as I became more confident in life, and so many, like, it happens, it doesn't happen overnight. You don't like get in a relationship and then all of a sudden become like very confident. Different things happen, you have multiple relationships over time. You learn how to dress better, you learn how to become more fit, you go to the gym more, you become more confident, you learn social skills, you learn how to have a YouTube channel that you can like vent all your feelings to, so you don't have to like vent it to friends or random people or your family members. So over the years, like I feel like I've racked up so many people that I formed relationships with based on past versions of me, and I'm not able to continue those relationships with those people because what they had is gone. What they had is over with. The old me is like still there, but like not really needing the thing that I thought that I needed in the past. The only way that I can continue being in a relationship with those people is if I were to have a huge tragedy in my life and lose everything, parts of me that I have built and developed over the years. I would have to have a lot of tragedy in order to be in a relationship with these people, and that's not something that I want. That's not something that, it's dangerous for me to still be connecting with people that it is a plus for them if I have a huge tragedy in my life. Does that make sense? So I know it sounds kind of vague of what I'm saying, but I had a realization this morning from a friend that actually I always felt more than anybody else in my life, more than all of my other friends that I ever had. This friend was very close to me and has always been there more than everybody else. In fact, I felt that as I got older in life, as I became older, she was consistently there for me in the way that the new me would have wanted. So she was actually developing and growing with me in a way that my other relationships weren't like that. My other relationships, and there are a few relationships that I have like this actually. It wasn't just her. There's a few relationships like this where maybe in the past I was like this meek, like me, like be my friend. I'm gonna message you 1,000,000 times a day version of myself, and then I stopped being that, either because I found a passion that I was excited about, I made new friends, I became successful in my career, I started a YouTube channel, all these things. So I started to have more confidence, and as I became more confident, instead of punishing me for that and saying, oh, how dare you think you're better than us, there's a lot of people in my life like that really like, please go away, please don't even think about me, go build your own confidence somewhere else. And there's a lot of people like that. Go build your confidence somewhere else, not with me, because I'm not I don't want to be what I was in your life a long time ago. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be a love beggar. I didn't enjoy it. It sucks energy from you. It sucks momentum from your life. The same momentum that you could be putting into building a business and it working, you are draining yourself. You're becoming cynical. You're becoming heavyweight. You shouldn't want that in your life. And I don't want to be around anybody that wants that for me. And so I had a lot of that. But then I also had people that, I grew in the way that I wanted. I became more confident. And they were like, you know what? I like that for you. And I like that for me. And they wanted that too for themselves. And they also wanted that. And they grew with that also. And then there were people that, there's just so many different kinds of people. There's people that grew with that and wanted that for me and whatever, but like, I still just didn't have time. Like, there's so many people from my past that still are texting me to this day. They're texting me. They're actually wanting to be my friend. They're wanting to, but I literally don't have time. And it's not because they can't be the friend that I need now. It's just because I am so beyond needing friends. In fact, I need time. I need time for myself because especially now, like, most of my time is for myself, meditating and thinking. Like, I'm trying to meditate more. And even like my friends that I make now are very much in the same place as me, where they're kind of doing the same things. Maybe they're going to the same clubs or working out, they're meditating, whatever. Like, I need my personal time in a way that maybe I didn't need when I was younger. I needed friends, and now I don't. Now I have. Anyways, there's a lot of so many different relationships that I have. So if you're watching this and you're like my friend in some way, and I'm like thinking, and you're thinking like, oh, like, does this apply to me? Like, oh, I don't like this, whatever. It might not be about you at all, actually. I might be because I'm really venting about things that I realized today that really bothered me. And that was from my youth, especially, not, and that is that I have a dynamic that is still somehow ongoing with some people that it just bugs me. And that's the dynamic of I am the love beggar, and I beg you for love and attention. And intimacy, emotional intimacy. I like message you like tons of information, whatever, tons of time. I mean, that's how I talk. It's just, I connect with people a lot, and you don't have to do it back. But if there is a day that I don't message them or I don't text, and then they'll respond with like a one-liner. There's a lot of people in my life like this. They'll respond with like a one-liner. So I don't feel connected to them or close to them in any way. So I actually forget about them. And so then when I have not responded to them, or no, I always respond. But then and then the thing is, why should I always respond? This is such a waste of my time. Well, like, you guys, get a life. People, I should get a life too. Like, I need to focus on myself, on my life. You make money, have a family, have what you want. So, but anyway, I would like message them like a million messages, and they would like respond with like one-liners. But then like one week, if I didn't message them, then out of the blue, they will message me and say, like, why aren't you messaging me? And like they would say it in a way of like they expected it, like just, I would get emails and stuff from like old friends, and like this air of like, how dare you not be communicating with me the way that you used to, and why are you not reaching out to me? And like, it's like an expectation, and it's so wrong to me. It really bothers me. It really hurts my feelings that I allowed myself to have this kind of lopsided relationship with people for so long, that it took me so long to fill my love gap, to the point where people that really, even with my own family members, some of them, my youngest siblings, I think, are more trained. My youngest siblings are more trained with the newer version of me, because they were too little when I was like meager, but like the older ones, like I feel like it's harder to train people that have known you since childhood to be the way that you want now. It's just really hard to train people in a new paradigm. They know you as this weak, like, doormat, and they kind of expect it from you, and they feel entitled to the doormat version of you. You know what I mean? And if you give them anything different, if you expect anything in a way that your younger you didn't expect, if you are anything but that little tiny version of you, they just can't handle it, because they are subconsciously expecting that from you. They subconsciously see you as lower than them, and they subconsciously see you as what you were, because that's what you were in the past. And the thing is, like, it's really hard to change, and it takes a lot of energy and momentum to change, a lot of energy and momentum that could have instead been invested into yourself and building yourself and becoming so confident and so built up that it doesn't matter what anybody else's paradigm is. So it's a really hard truth, because it means that you have to basically disconnect from everybody that knew you at the time that you didn't feel strong, that you didn't feel like the strongest version of yourself. And it doesn't mean that you have to disconnect from them forever, but it means that you have to disconnect from them for as long as it takes for you to build this new paradigm of, I am this new person, and feel really cemented in this new person that you are. I am a clean, sober person. So, like, let's say you spent a long time around people that maybe they weren't alcoholics, but you were an alcoholic around them. Whenever you were around them, you were always drinking. So this dynamic formed, a relationship security formed around you being a drinker. And whenever you're around them, you're always drinking, and it gives a sense of closeness to the relationship, because that's how the relationship formed in the first place. And if you stop drinking, then those people might subconsciously feel really disconnected from you and subconsciously try to pull you back into that dynamic. Nobody does these things maliciously. Sometimes I say people are doing it maliciously because I'm angry or hurt, but the truth is, like, no one is doing these things maliciously. These are dynamics that happen naturally. They're dynamics that happen like I say a lot on this channel, it's like 92% of it is happening subconsciously. And a lot of it is energy, like if you're spiritual in any way, a lot of it, or if you care about electrical signals, in your body, like a lot of it is not stuff that is tangible physically or that you can quantify. It's happening. These dynamics are happening beyond your very conscious awareness. So you get pulled into the same dynamics as you did when you were younger. And for me, those dynamics really, really, really make me feel weak and powerless. When I am pulled in any way into the dynamics of my youth, I am not able to function. I'm not able to build. It took a lot of disconnecting from my past, my younger self, in order to even build wealth. Because building wealth is about, it's negotiating. It's about saying, I'm worth X. I'm selling X. It's about taking initiative and having the confidence to do it. It requires a lot of faith in yourself. Any kind of wealth, even just going and getting a job at McDonald's. It requires a faith in yourself, a confidence to say, I can do something with my life, and I'm functional, and I'm worth it. And like when you connect with people that the relationship is built on a less confident or like less motivated version of yourself, like it kind of brings you back into that, and it takes energy from you. And maybe they don't see you as that, because maybe to them, maybe everybody in their world is just a bunch of losers, but like for you, it's taking away energy from you to do that. So this is what I noticed, is like, as much as I wanted to stay connected with people from my past life, they could never see it. You know, if I taught, and I've had this conversation with a few people from my high school, from my past, my elementary school that I was friends with, had this conversation, and they couldn't understand it. And why should they understand it? Because it's like it doesn't make sense to them, because they're not in the same world as me. But like, I try to explain, like, and then they're like, I don't get it, like, you went, and now you're on Twitter, and now you're on YouTube, and now you're doing your own thing, and like now you think you're better than everybody, or now you don't want to be friends with us. Like, for everybody they said it differently, and like, now you don't want to be friends with us, now you don't want to talk to us, whatever. And like, when I think of my friendships when I was in the past, like, I didn't even understand why those people are so upset about it, because like, I didn't feel like they wanted to be my friend so badly back then. But beyond that, some of them did. Some of them I really think did. I think that they were friends with a version of me with a style of me that I don't want, that doesn't serve me right now. And I would try to explain this to them, and it was just so foreign. It didn't make sense. And the thing is, like, it's your friendships, it's never about the other person. It's about you. It's about how they are to you as a mirror. Even if a person has changed from your past life, a lot of times what happens is, like, even if a person from your past life is willing to give you exactly what you want now and be in a dynamic with you of like your utmost powerful self, a lot of times you're like, just being around them and being connected to them, you're reminded of that old version of you. And it's like, it just, until you're so secure in yourself that it doesn't matter, like, it's going to affect you, and it's going to take away from your ability to thrive right now. So I had a realization this morning that I can only be interacting and interfacing right now at such a crucial point in my life where I'm so fragile. I'm making a baby inside of me, and I'm in a new place, living a new lifestyle, a new country, in a relationship that's still relatively new, like 4 years now. Oh my God, like almost 4 years. 3.5 years. And not even the whole relationship is 3.5 years, but like the span of knowing Andrew has been 3.5 years. And I'm still cementing myself in this new awesome life. I'm still getting used to not being in survival mode, which is what I was in for a really long time. I was in survival mode financially. I'm still getting used to the thought of abundance. Like even getting out of survival mode, I didn't do that from a place of abundance. I did that from a place of like a lot of scarcity. So now I'm trying to shift my mindset, more abundance, because I want to make more money so that I can not only not be in survival mode, but I can do all kinds of things that just even more. Buy properties everywhere, afford properties everywhere, and all kinds of things. So like, God, what am I saying? I'm in a place in my life where, because I can, and because everybody can and should, like, I'm in a place in my life where I've just decided that I want to be very selective with the kind of energy I allow in my life. And I only want the kind of relationships that want to be there, that it's like a mutual, like, this is good for you and it's good for me type of thing. You know, it's not like I need you or you need me, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I want momentum. And I mean, Bali is very easy for that. Like, but when it comes to staying in touch with people from my past, I want to be really selective about it. And I think you guys should also be, you know. I do think that I'm better than you guys. I think that I'm better than everybody. I think that you should think that too. So, I don't really want to hear bullshit of like, oh, you think you're better than us. I don't really care. I don't care. I don't care if you think that I think I'm better than you. Maybe you should get a life. Maybe you should think you're better than other people. Because you need that. You need to think you're better than other people. If you're going to build anything that's worth selling, if you're going to build a life that's worth living, and screw anyone that teaches you otherwise, that teaches you that you have to be poor and humble. Oh, go and, you know, if you actually enjoy that kind of life of being a doormat, go and live around people that make you do that. But I don't want that. And I know a lot of people that I'm in touch with now don't want that either. You know, I know a lot of people that don't want that. And I think that I am good for those people. And I think that they are good for me. I only want to keep interfacing with energy that is mutually beneficial, where them being their greatest and most happy, confident selves is beneficial for me. Me being my greatest happy self is beneficial for them, where I don't want to be in relationships where other people need to be small in order for me to have what I need in the relationship, and where I need to be small in order for other people to have what they need in the relationship. And I don't want to be in relationships where there's even the thought of, oh, you think you're better than us. Yeah. Yes, I think I'm better than you. If that's what you think, then yes, I think I'm better than you. Because I think I'm better than anyone who makes you feel that way. That's my value. That's like my personal values and morals, or whatever you want to call it. So I want to be close with people that have that too, that think they're better, that have that hold that or at least that want to think they're better, and that want to hold that up as an ideal. Because life is short. It's way too short for you to waste it on anything that doesn't serve you and your goals and your life purpose. It's just too short. Oh, but you know, what about we're your family? We're your this, we're your that. You know, people that are like so entitled, and like, I'm so done with it. I'm so done with anything other than mutual benefit, things that serve your goals and my goals. And that's the realization I came to this morning. You know, I don't know exactly how I feel about the text, so I don't even think I even describe what happened, the text that I got from my friend. But this is a friend that from all of my other childhood friends, I really felt closest with, and I actually felt like she gave me the momentum that I always wanted, and that it actually translated. Even as I got older, I still felt satisfied in the relationship. It wasn't like a lot of other relationships where, like, as I became more confident, I just didn't care about the relationship anymore because I wasn't getting the momentum that I wanted, you know? This was one of those relationships where I felt genuinely like I always had it, even from childhood, which was like very rare. But I got a message. So the thing is, like, lately I just feel like I'm always messaging her and she never messages me back. It's like maybe like a few lines, and like if she does, it's like it's very rare. It's very rare for her to like connect with me and like share with me. Like, it's always me like trying to connect with her, even though I don't really need it as much as I used to, because now I have a YouTube channel that's where I vent all my feelings. So she she responded. So recently I was like, I messaged her to wish her a happy birthday, and she messaged me back, and oh, like, how are you doing? And I shared with her a bunch of stuff about my life, and like I shared with her that I am expecting a child and all these things. And her reaction was like, yeah, I saw that on YouTube. I was surprised to hear it on YouTube before you told me. And maybe she wasn't saying it from a place of being upset. Maybe she was genuinely like, oh, I was surprised that I saw it on YouTube instead of you telling me. But it just made me realize, like, I don't owe anybody an update on my life. Nobody. I don't owe anybody an update on my life, and nobody would expect that from me. No, I don't expect that from anybody else. Like, there are so many people that I crave emotional intimacy from that just don't give it to me. And I don't even crave it anymore. Like, I craved it in the period of the relationship where I spent so much time trying to connect with them emotionally, and they just wouldn't give it to me back. They wouldn't give me intimacy. I was giving them intimacy and they wouldn't give it back to me. Fine. If you can't do that, if you don't want to do that, that's your prerogative. I respect people's needs because I respect my own needs. Because if I want something and I need something, I go get it. And I want you to have it too. I want you to have everything you need. But for a lot of people, it's like, I crave this emotional intimacy. It was like that in relationships too, before I met Andrew. It was like there was so much of that where like I craved emotional intimacy, and I'm not talking about anyone that you know. I'm not talking about. I was in so many relationships before Andrew, and not any of them that you know. Not my ex before Andrew. He was not. I'm not talking about him for anyone that's like, oh, your ex before Andrew. No, I had so many relationships before that where it was like mucho emotional intimacy from me and texts and emotional connecting from me and zero from them, maybe one line from them. Maybe I was being too much, maybe whatever it was. I wasn't filling their need in the moment. They weren't filling my need in the moment. And for them to then text me back, and this would happen a lot actually, for them to then text me back 6 months later or a year later and say, why didn't you message me? Why didn't you call me? Why didn't you connect with me? Why didn't you? And it's like, it felt very entitled because it was like, oh my God, do you really expect me to give you forever? Do you really expect for me to stay so small that forever until the end of time, I'm going to give you emotional intimacy and you won't give me anything? Did you really expect that was going to happen? Are you so stupid that you think that that's going to happen? And do you think so lowly of me that you think that I would do that? I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're God. I don't care if you're my mom. I wouldn't give that to my mom. I don't give that to my mom. My relationship with my mom has changed a lot. And you know what? I think it's good for her too. But that's for her to decide. Not for me to decide. For me to decide is to be the confident level that is going to serve me, my family, my future children, my future offspring. For you to decide is how to get your own effing life and build your own confidence without relying on other people in a way that is not mutually beneficial. And I mean, so this friend, that really hurt my feelings this morning, is the realization that if I don't cut this off or put my foot down, even this relationship that was like really the best relationship I had from my childhood, but even this one, this person could have gone an eternity expecting something from me that she would never have been able to give back. Maybe she wasn't capable of it. Maybe other people are not capable of giving me what I need in life, and that's fine. But I went into relationships with expectations that were never going to be met. And I could have gone an eternity without it being met. and just continuing to beg and beg and beg and beg. And those people would have. So it's just a realization that I had, and a level of anger that came with it. And I mean, I don't think my friend really deserves it, but it's more just, I'm realizing that that chapter of my life is over. Those friendships are over. Those friendships never existed as far as the new me is concerned. They are not going to serve me, because in order to be in those relationships from my past, a lot of them, I will have to revert into a version of me that doesn't serve me anymore. I'll have to be a version of me that is just spending so much energy and emotional intimacy, giving emotional intimacy to other people and never getting it back. And, the older I get, the more confident I get, the more I realize, like, you can really have anything in life. It's never ending. You could actually have more in life, and you can have relationships that are mutually beneficial. And also, you can have relationships with people that give you energy instead of, take away energy. And however good you think your relationships are now, however amazing you think they are now, they can be even better. Maybe with the same people, maybe it can improve and you can grow with people, or maybe you can grow beyond them and you can match with people that are even better match for you. I don't think that any of it is a loss for anybody. If you are constantly having to pull people along that don't match your energy, that you're trying to grow, that don't match your growth cycle, if you're constantly trying to grow in a certain way and it feels like you're just pulling everybody along, do you think that you're giving them anything? Do you think that you're actually being beneficial to those people in your life that you're dragging along? If you're a drinker, I'm just using this as an example because it's so black and white. Like, if you're in a group of drinkers that you guys hang out and you drink every day, and then all of a sudden you decide that you want to be clean, you want to be sober, and you don't want to drink and do drugs. And you put so much energy into getting out of that. And on top of the energy you put into getting out of that, you're having to put double energy, take away energy from working and improving your life in any way, but use that energy to try to pull all those people along, to drag all those people along with you. If those people aren't ready for it, they're not ready to get sober, this isn't the right time in their life, you might actually be causing them more damage. You might be causing them damage, hurt feelings, you might be causing them to be less confident because you're like, you're coming on your soapbox every day and you're like, look at me, I'm sober now. And then you like say that to them and you're like showing them how awesome it is to be sober, and they're kind of feeling shitty because they don't feel like being sober, they feel like drinking, and now you're just making them feel bad about themselves, and now they're losing confidence. So I don't really believe that there's win-lose. I really, really, really do believe that relationships are either win-win or lose-lose. Either everybody wins together or everybody loses together. If it's not a match for you, it's not being a match for those people. Those people are probably struggling. They're probably like, oh, like, get away from me. What, you think you're better than us? What, you think, are you trying to make us feel like shit? Like, what are you trying to do here? You're taking away energy from us. And at the same time, they're taking away energy from you because they're pulling you back from the direction that you want to go in. And this is what I'm realizing is like, I don't want to waste my energy any more than I already have. Don't want to waste energy, and I don't want you, anybody in my life, or you in your personal life, to be wasting your energy on things that don't serve you. I want you guys, my viewers, I want you guys to be so intentional on your relationships. Don't waste energy on relationships that don't serve both parties. I don't care if it's your grandma. I don't care if it's like, oh my God, but like, life, what if I didn't spend it with the people I love? Good, spend it with the people you love. Spend it with people that give you energy. oh, but they're your family, why don't you call them, you call them, it's more important than like how you feel. Like, if your relationships are built on guilt, and the reason why I'm like making these imitations is because I already can hear people's responses to me that when I talk to you about this kind of stuff. If your relationships are based on guilt, you think that you're helping someone by getting off of your high horse and being their friend out of charity? You think that anybody wants to be your friend because you gave them the charity of being their friend? You think that anyone is being helped by you and your righteous, high moral self giving them the gift of being their friend? I don't think that people like to be treated that way. I don't think people want to be treated as your charity case. So do yourself a favor and do everybody else a favor and stop being friends with people out of guilt. And direct your energy towards where you feel like it. Be friends with people you feel like. Date people that you're actually attracted to, that you feel like. Stop staying in relationships from guilt with people that you feel bad for. Ew. I don't want anyone to be in a relationship that feels bad for me. When I talk to people and I get even a hint of like, they don't think my YouTube channel is cool. I think my YouTube channel is cool. When I get a hint of like anyone doesn't think my YouTube channel is cool, or like the things I think are cool, I think it's like weird and like nerdy. You know what? It hurts my feelings. Why would you want to be friends with people that you don't think what they're doing is cool? Why would you want that for yourself? And why should they have that from you? Okay, so that's basically the realization I had this morning. And I think I'm actually pretty good about it. I think I don't think anything has to change, really. It's more just a realization that I spent a long time in dynamics that were not mutually serving, that didn't serve myself, that also didn't serve the other person. I spent a long time doing that. And to the detriment of myself and to the detriment of other people, because I really, really, really believe that this is a two-way thing. When you don't respect yourself, you can't respect other people, and you do things to like, and you don't know how you're doing it. You don't realize how you're doing it. So anyways, yeah, that's a lot of stuff, a lot of like going around the circles. And also like when you don't respect yourself, like other people can't respect you. Like no one can respect you or love you more than you love yourself. It's really, it's like impossible. You go outside and you're like, oh, like I'm such a loser. Like you just kind of like walk outside with that kind of mentality. If someone else were to say like, no, you're not a loser, then they would be disagreeing with you. And then you'd be mad at them, right? So like they kind of have to see you the way that you see yourself. That's kind of how the world has to act. And also it would be really crazy and weird for them to love you more than you love yourself. Like that's a parent's job. And the people that do give you that, sometimes by accident, it changes your life. And a lot of times people get that in relationships where they get in a relationship and they find that the person, loves them more than they love themselves. And they're like, oh my God, I heal in this relationship. But that happens on a very intimate level through a very prolonged period of time of like getting to know someone. Straight off the bat when you meet people and like you just met them or you're like still getting to know them, people can't love you more than you love yourself. It's just a rule. So the goal, love yourself, invest in yourself, no guilt, no shame. Literally just disconnect from like any community or situation or place, people, culture that tells you that you have to be small and humble and like, oh my God, I hate the sacrificial mentality, and like there was so much of that where I grew up. But another thing I want to do is I want to plug my book, House Hackers Anonymous, which I'm still waiting for the audiobook to be approved. It's taking forever, and I'm sure they're going to come back with like a million fixes they want me to do, a million changes that are going to take forever, but like whatever. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about the audiobook because a lot of you guys have told me that you haven't been reading House Hackers Anonymous because it's in print, and you would rather listen to it as an audiobook. I won't hold it against you if you still don't listen to it. But I'm just really excited for it to be an audiobook. And for anyone that doesn't know what House Hackers Anonymous is, it's my financial freedom book, 12 Steps to Financial Freedom. It is basically my personal plan, A to Z. Like, if you just threw me in the middle of nowhere and like threw me in the deep end and I have to learn how to swim again, taking mental health into consideration, taking everything that's happening in the world into consideration, mostly geared towards Americans because that's where I was. I grew up in America, and that's where I figured out my financial plan. So if you're from another country, I tried to make it tailored towards everybody, but it's probably going to best help you if you're an American citizen. 12 steps toward freedom, and just as clear as I possibly could have, everything that I know, down to my exact business plans, like it's in there. My exact plan A to Z, like how I did everything. So if you're like feeling lost in life, you're struggling with the whole adulting thing, and you're like struggling to stay afloat mentally, let alone financially figure things out, and you're about to get kicked out of your parents' house because they just don't want to take care of you anymore, or you're about to lose your job, or whatever doom is about to happen, and you basically need a life raft. You're feeling desperate. That's what House Hackers Anonymous was made for, and I really want to put more into it. Lately, I just feel so tired a lot of the time because of being pregnant, and also because we were healing from being sick. So I'm just like sleeping a lot. Like every day I'm sleeping. I'm like, monkeying around, eating. But I do plan to make HHA, House Hackers Anonymous, into a more like comprehensive brand that's like more helpful. And it's not going to be a charity. I like I told you, I don't really believe in charity. I think that I believe in win-win situations. I believe in situations where everybody wins together. I don't believe in win-lose. I don't believe I lose something, so now you gain something. You lose something, so now I gain something. I don't believe that. Fuck that, and fuck anyone who believes in that. So HHA is not going to be a charity. It's not, unless it's going to be like tax beneficial for me down the line, I'll turn it into a nonprofit. But it's primarily not going to be a charity. It's going to be a way, and I already have the plan like kind of set up. HHA is going to be a way for all of us to win together and to make money together and thrive together, become more confident together, become big together. And I'm really excited about it. And so stay tuned for House Hackers Anonymous. If you are like cool with reading the print version of HHA, it's in the description all the way in the bottom where the book is, househackersanonymous.com. There's a book section. Buy the book. There, you'll find it there, and it's on Amazon. Okay, love you guys, and I really do love you guys. Sorry for like all the ranting and like crazy stuff and like whatever. I shouldn't be apologizing, but like in one of my future videos I won't be, so you'll see. Okay, bye.